What if I told you that your winter garden could actually look better than spring? I know, it sounds surprising. Most people think winter means dull, empty yards, but that's not true at all. There are shrubs and flowers that don't just survive the cold, they thrive in it. They add color, texture, and even fragrance when everything else looks dead and gray. And here's the secret most gardeners miss. Fall isn't the end of your gardening season. Fall is actually the beginning of your winter landscape. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 must-plant shrubs and flowers for fall that will completely transform your yard into a show-stopping masterpiece, even under a blanket of snow. You're about to see some real winter magic. Here's how we'll do it. I'll walk you through each plant, why it works so well in fall, and exactly how it brings life to your winter garden. And stick with me until the very end because plant number 7 is my absolute favorite. Low maintenance, gorgeous, and it'll save you hours of garden work. And hey, before we jump in, if you love gardening tips that actually work and want your yard to look amazing in every season, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. That way you won't miss my next planting guides for spring, summer, and beyond. All right, let's start strong with one of the absolute icons of the winter garden, Winterberry Holly. Now, if you've ever walked past a snowy yard and seen those bright red berries glowing like ornaments on a Christmas tree, that was probably Winterberry. Here's why it's a must-plant in fall. It drops its leaves in the cold, but those clusters of berries stay behind and pop against the white snow. Birds love them too, so you're not just getting beauty, you're creating a little winter wildlife haven. Planting tips: Winterberry loves moist, well-drained soil. Don't tuck it away in full shade, give it at least half a day of sunlight for the best berry production. And one key detail most people miss: Winterberry is dioecious. That means you need a male plant nearby if you want your female plants to produce those incredible berries. Without that, you'll just get green leaves and no show. It's low maintenance once established, and honestly, it looks like nature decorated your yard for the holidays. And speaking of holiday magic, our next plant is like having a splash of summer that refuses to quit, even as temperatures drop. Let's talk about Camellias. This shrub is an absolute showstopper because it blooms when almost nothing else dares to. In late fall and through the winter, you'll see big, lush flowers, often in shades of pink, red, or even pure white, opening right when your garden needs color most. Why is it powerful for fall planting? Because getting them in the ground now gives their roots time to establish before the real cold sets in. That way, when winter rolls in, they're ready to explode with color. Imagine walking outside in January and seeing roses. That's the kind of vibe Camellias give. Tips for success? Camellias like slightly acidic soil, so if your ground leans alkaline, mix in peat moss or compost to balance it out. Keep the soil consistently moist, but never soggy. And a big one, protect them from harsh afternoon sun. They thrive with morning sun and afternoon shade. They do take a little bit of patience and care at first, but the payoff is incredible. Trust me, when your neighbors see giant pink blossoms in the dead of winter, they'll wonder what secret you've unlocked. And if you think Camellias are impressive, wait until you see the next plant. It actually blooms through snow, and it's coming up in just a minute. All right. Now for one of the most enchanting cold weather bloomers out there, Hellebores, often called the Christmas rose. Why is it so special? Because this plant doesn't just tolerate winter, it performs in it. When most gardens look lifeless, Hellebores push up delicate blooms in shades of creamy white, soft pink, or even deep purple. Imagine looking out on a frosty morning and seeing roses peeking up through the snow. That's the magic of Hellebores. Here's why planting them in fall is key. Hellebores need cool weather to establish their roots. If you get them in the soil now, they'll settle in just in time to reward you with flowers right through the coldest months. Planting tips? These beauties thrive in well-draining soil rich in organic matter, so think leaf mulch or compost. They prefer part to full shade, which makes them perfect for brightening up those darker corners of your yard. Water them regularly in their first season, but once they're established, they're surprisingly tough and drought-resistant. And here's a little bonus. Hellebores are deer and rabbit resistant, so while other plants might get nibbled down to nothing, these will keep on shining. The result? A winter garden that feels alive, colorful, and resilient when everything else is given up. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because the next plant we're covering doesn't just survive snowstorms, it blooms through them. That's coming up next. Now let's talk about a shrub that doesn't just decorate your winter garden, it paints it. Meet the Red Twig Dogwood.
This plant is all about drama. In the summer, it looks like a lush green shrub. Pretty, but nothing out of the ordinary. But once the leaves fall in autumn, the real show begins. Those bare twigs turn a fiery, vivid red that glows against the snow. On a gray winter's day, it's like having natural neon lights right in your yard. Why is it powerful in fall? Because planting red twig dogwood now gives its root system time to settle in before the ground freezes. Come winter, you're rewarded with that incredible pop of color when everything else is muted. And here's the best part. It's a 4-season performer. Spring gives you white blossoms. Summer brings lush foliage. Fall delivers berries for the birds. And winter, well, that's when it steals the show. Here are some tips to get it right. Dogwoods thrive in moist, well-drained soil. If you've got a low-lying area that stays damp, this plant will love it. They do well in full sun, but can also handle partial shade. Just keep in mind, the more sunlight, the more vibrant those red stems will be. Pruning is important too. Cutting back the oldest stems every couple of years keeps the color fresh because new growth is always the brightest. And here's a pro tip most gardeners don't know. If you plant red twig dogwood in a group of 3 or more, the effect multiplies. Instead of a single splash of red, you get a fiery wall of color that anchors your whole winter landscape. It's a conversation starter, a bird magnet, and a design trick all in one shrub. But what if you want not just bold color, but fragrance too? Something that makes you stop and breathe in every time you walk through your garden. That's exactly what our next plant delivers. Say hello to witch hazel, the winter shrub that surprises almost everyone. Now, most people expect flowers in spring and summer, but witch hazel laughs at the rules. It actually blooms in the dead of winter. Picture this, crinkly, ribbon-like flowers in bright yellow, orange, or even deep red, blooming right when you think nothing else could possibly survive the cold. It's almost otherworldly, like little bursts of sunshine scattered across bare branches. Why plant it in fall? Because fall planting gives witch hazel the perfect conditions to root in without the stress of summer heat. By the time winter arrives, it's ready to put on a show. And trust me, when those flowers open in January or February, you'll never look at your winter garden the same way again. Tips for success? Witch hazel thrives in slightly acidic, well-drained soil. They like full sun to partial shade, though more sun means more blooms. Keep the soil consistently moist, especially during dry spells, because this shrub hates drying out. And here's a key detail. Witch hazel grows slowly but steadily, eventually becoming a small tree-like shrub that adds height and structure to your garden design. Now here's something special, fragrance. Not only are the flowers visually stunning, but many varieties release a subtle, spicy sweet scent that drifts through your garden. On a crisp winter morning, stepping outside and catching that fragrance is pure magic. And don't be afraid to use witch hazel creatively. Plant it near a walkway or patio where you'll actually enjoy those blooms up close. Or mix it with evergreens so the yellow really stands out against the deep green backdrop. This shrub is living proof that winter doesn't have to be dull. It can be bright, fragrant, and full of life. And if you thought witch hazel was impressive, just wait. The next plant we're about to cover is a game changer. It doesn't just add beauty, it practically glows at dusk and transforms the entire atmosphere of your garden. Now, if you want a shrub that combines beauty, toughness, and security, you need to meet Firethorn, also known as Pyracantha. This shrub is a powerhouse. In the fall, it loads up with clusters of bright orange or red berries that cling to the branches well into winter. Against evergreen leaves or even against snow, it looks like your garden has been decorated with strings of holiday lights. Birds absolutely love it too. You'll often see robins and waxwings feasting on the berries when food is scarce. But here's what makes Firethorn extra special. It's not just ornamental, it's practical. Those thorny branches create a natural barrier, perfect for planting along fences or under windows. It's like having a security system and a showpiece in one plant. Planting tips? Firethorn thrives in well-drained soil and full sun, though it tolerates partial shade. It's drought-resistant once established, so it's perfect if you don't want a fussy shrub. Just remember to give it some space. It can grow big, and those thorns mean pruning requires gloves and care. Here's a pro move. Train Firethorn against a wall or trellis. Not only does it save space, but the berries create a stunning vertical display, like nature's mural. In fact, I've seen entire garden walls glowing red-orange in winter just from Firethorn alone. And one more note, if you plant Firethorn this fall, you'll be setting yourself up for year-round interest. Spring gives you white blossoms, summer is lush and green, fall delivers berries, and winter, well, that's when the show really begins. It's bold, it's functional, and it adds layers of character to your garden. But if you're looking for something that's both jaw-droppingly beautiful and incredibly easy to care for, our final plant on the list might just become your new favorite. Finally, let's talk about the Evergreen Azalea, a shrub that proves low maintenance doesn't have to mean low impact. Unlike many azaleas that lose their leaves, evergreen varieties keep their foliage all year round. That means even in the coldest months, your garden keeps its structure and color. Then, when spring arrives, they explode into vibrant blooms, pinks, purples, reds, whites, that completely transform your garden.
So why plant them in fall? Because this is when the soil is cool and moist, which helps azaleas establish strong roots before their big bloom season. If you put them in now, by next spring, you'll have a shrub bursting with color, and by winter, you'll already appreciate the greenery holding your landscape together. Tips for success? Azaleas thrive in acidic, well-drained soil enriched with organic matter. They love morning sun and afternoon shade. It keeps the blooms from fading too quickly. Keep the soil evenly moist, but avoid waterlogging. Mulching around the base not only conserves moisture, but also keeps the soil acidic, which azaleas adore. Now, here's why I call them a must plant. Once established, evergreen azaleas are surprisingly tough. They don't demand constant pruning, they resist many pests, and they give back beauty in every season. You'll have lush green foliage in winter, dazzling flowers in spring, and reliable structure in summer and fall. Let me share a quick story. Last winter, I planted a row of evergreen azaleas along a walkway. Even without flowers, they gave the path a neat, polished look. But when spring rolled around, it was like walking through a tunnel of pink blossoms. That single planting project turned my entire garden into a destination. And here's the kicker. Azaleas play beautifully with other plants. Pair them with camellias or hellebores, and suddenly your garden is a four-season masterpiece. So if you want a plant that works hard all year, looks stunning with minimal effort, and rewards you with a jaw-dropping spring, this is it. 7 shrubs and flowers, 7 opportunities to make your winter garden unforgettable. So let's quickly recap the 7 must-plant shrubs and flowers for fall that will give you a show-stopping winter landscape. We started with Winterberry Holly, with its bright red berries that glow like ornaments in the snow. Then Camellias, bold enough to bloom when nothing else dares. Hellebores, the Christmas rose that pushes through frost with elegance. Red Twig Dogwood, turning bare branches into fiery works of art. Witch Hazel, a fragrant surprise with ribbons of color in the dead of winter. Firethorn, the security shrub that doubles as a berry-covered masterpiece. And finally, the Evergreen Azalea, tough, reliable, and breathtaking when spring arrives. Even if you only plant 2 or 3 of these shrubs, your yard will instantly stand out in winter, And if you plant all 7, your garden will be the one people stop to admire. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these shrubs or flowers are you planting first? Tell me in the comments below. I'll be replying to the first 50 gardeners who share their pics. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our gardening family. I share practical, proven tips every week to keep your garden thriving through every season. When you subscribe, you won't miss my next guides. And trust me, you'll want to see what's coming for spring.